The Court of Appeal in Abuja has declined to nullify the primary election that produced Asue Ighodalo as candidate of the People's Democratic Party for the governorship election in Edo State, slated for September. The appellate court, in a unanimous decision by a three-man panel of justice, dismissed an appeal that was filed by the recently reinstated Deputy Governor of the state, Philip Shaibu, who was earlier impeached in office. The court said it found no reason to set aside the May 27 judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja, which refused to invalidate the governorship primary election the PDP conducted in Edo State based on the suit by the appellant. It went ahead and awarded a cost of 1 million naira against Shaibu. All right, so Edo State's still in the news, and I don't think they're going to be out of the news anytime soon. But this time it's an update. I recall that he had approached the reinstated deputy governor, because there's so many concerns around the nomenclature of that.
With one party,
but he had approached the Federal High Court, Honored Justice Omotosho, to seek that the PDP primaries be annulled based on a number of things. Your take on this story now at the appeal court?
Okay, well, as you've said now, we've got this little bit of an update, but I don't think it, again, addresses the bigger issues on ground. Again, from someone from the outside looking in, there doesn't seem to be a lot of, I won't call it rot, but just clearly a lot of disconnection between the sitting governor, this now reinstated governor who now is pledging, well, not even now, but who is now with a separate party. So it does seem as though there's a lot of messiness happening in Edo State. And looking at Obaseki's comments, he's been calling for a free and fair election when they do come to their state election. I think it will be in September, this coming September. And I do imagine that many people, in the interest of democracy, in the interest of the people of Edo State, will join him in asking for a free, fair, but also a safe election process. I'm saying that because this is happening off the back of protests, police officer losing their life last week, and then lots of issues as it pertains to Shaibu and whether or not he's able to, I guess, assume his duties or not. I think during your interview last week, he did discuss how, well, despite everything that's happening, he will be resuming to work, that he does have duties to do, but he's unable to get in type of contact with his superior, the governor, and he's also not on good terms with the National Assembly in Edo State. So I can't imagine that this is the most fruitful form of governance happening in Edo State, but it will be interesting to see what the elections look like. Yeah.
Two things I always tell people: never trust politicians. They're only as good as when their interests align. Shaibu and Obaseki fighting today used to be best buddies. The same Oshomole that Shaibu went to prostrate for 2 days ago was the same person he was fighting a couple of months ago. All of this is for power. So Shaibu, because he couldn't get his way with the PDP, he's trying to disrupt the candidature of Asue Ighodalo. They had a quick fist in the door when the court ruled in their favor the first time that, as regards, the delegates, they were not real delegates and all of that, and that caused a lot of kerfuffle. But Asue Ighodalo has triumphed over that. Now they've even gone to the court, the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal still insists. In fact, even fined Triangle 1 million by saying that you didn't even participate in the election, so you have no locus in the first place, because you had a parallel primary as against the one that was held collectively, where you declared yourself the winner and all of that. And you have not exhausted all the party mechanisms internally. But Shaibu obviously has left, has moved on, to the APC. He's with Monday Okpebolo, trying as much as possible to fight against it. So it's a squabble for power. Yeah. But one thing I will not also condone, that I'm seeing videos making the rounds, that Baseki said, was that the country is going to burn. Nowhere is going to burn. It's all for your interest. You have your own candidate in this election. If he doesn't win, you go to the courts. If the court doesn't really your favor, you move on, because you win some and you lose some. Yeah. All of this is for the interest, their interest in the end. It's never about you and me. And sometimes, I'm going to use this very hard word, the people are too deluded to see through their, pardon my French, BS in the end. They keep supporting these politicians at their own expense. All of these guys and these things, they are billionaires, they are richer. An average Edo citizen can't get a job to do. Yeah.
Well, you did ask the question yesterday when we had Liberos Oshoma, where you asked him, what is the need for the Edo people? And when should they begin to speak up? I think very importantly, what the judgment from the appeal court, unanimous, by the way, is that now the PDP candidate, Asue Ighodalo, could hopefully continue with his campaign without a lot of distractions from the reinstated Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu, who has said that the court should set aside the PDP primaries, even though he was not participating in it, even though he had a factional primary held in his residence at the time. So he had, according to the first ruling in the Federal High Court, he had no local standing to even bring the matter before the court because he was not a part of that process. But to now see that, so what we're saying is that, okay, at least at this point, Mr. Asue Ighodalo has been cleared to run. Right. He is, at the moment, the substantive candidate of the PDP in that election. I'm hoping that peace will reign, and at the end of the day, the interests of the Edo people themselves, who are the ones who will make the decision finally as to who will govern them in the next cycle, will be paramount. And very importantly, listen to the issues. But I need to very quickly just mention something before we go. Earlier on, when I talked about the NUPRC for the meeting, I mentioned them because they were part of that meeting. Right. But we know that it's the NMDPRA who are the ones who are involved in this matter with the Dangote, because they are the regulators for the Dangote refinery. It has nothing to do with the NUPRC. They were just present at that meeting. I believe the minister was trying to bring together all the stakeholders, yes, without, so that was just to clarify that. But we'll take a short break now. When we return.
Good morning, everyone. Trust God, we all doing great. And I'm doing very, very okay. Now, this is what I've got to say. You guys are going to be watching this clip about Shaibu taking Aswen to court. You guys remember when they went to court, they celebrate victory last few weeks. They celebrated victory. They were so happy. And we then say, oh, they were so happy about what was not actually there. But right now, they took Obaseki, Aswen, the candidate, Dr. Aswen, the candidate, they took him to court. Okay, and to say that the election in March was not meant to be there, was not real, whichever way it was, they cheated and all of that. So now table has turned. Dr. Aswen has won the case. Okay, Dr. Aswen has won the case, and he won it with a flying color. How did he win? He won it with a flying color. They even gave him, what's it called? They gave him they even asked Shaibu to pay 1 million naira back. Can you guys imagine how life rotates, how this life works? Okay, so my dear fellow brothers and sisters, before you do anything, always ask questions. Don't just think that yes, oh, you can do anything, you can say anything to certain persons or do anything to certain persons, that when the oil of God is upon your head or upon that person's head, always be mindful. I'm not a politician, like as I said, and I would never be one, but I want good governance, and I want good government for my country, Nigeria. I love Nigeria so much. You all know that. And I want you all to watch this video and see for yourself. It's sad. And you guys can just tell, like what the news said. Sometime years ago, Philip Shaibu betrayed our Oshomole for one reason or the other to go with. I didn't say it. This is the news saying that, and followed Mr. Obaseki. They all know themselves. One thing you all don't know, they all know themselves when it comes to politics, okay? But this time around, politics will not be swept under the carpet of lies. The truth has to come out in certain things. So I want you all to understand this, and I want we all to put heads together to make sure we have good governance. And we, the youth, or the younger ones, the new generations or the old generations, old generation cannot just be ruining us, putting us down the grave, you know, because we still know our law, we still know our rights. So I'll use this opportunity to say to you all, watch this and tell me what you guys think. I'm coming to do the video properly. I'm at work already. Peace.